Hello and welcome to this overview. In this session, we'll look at miscellaneous. Now in miscellaneous, we've got the dashboard overview, single journal, multi-journal, chart of accounts, modify, periodic tasks checklist, year-end reports checklist, and transactions. Let's start by looking at the dashboard. Now let's use this one. Now when we click dashboard, a report comes up below here. Now this report can be condensed, can be reduced in size. Now there is some explanation in this question mark. It's a combined financial statement which shows both a condensed profit and loss account and balance sheet for the year to date. It gives a quick snapshot of the whole business at a glance, including a few ratios. For any further detail, please refer to either the periodic or year-end statements. So, snapshot. This is a brief profit and loss account, and this is a really condensed balance sheet. And that is what we find in the dashboard. Now, next we look at the single journal. Now, single journal essentially provides a form for recording an entry that has only got a debit and a credit. There is no VAT and there's no credit. So there is a guide here which you can read through, and essentially this single journal is also used to indicate whether the transaction is a journal or it's a year-end adjustment. Now here it indicates that the top row is going to be debited to the general ledger and the lower row is going to be credited to the general ledger. This date you can change as you wish. And now here we've got a list of 265 accounts. So you select any account that you please. Any account that you please. Same applies to the bottom list here. You select any account that you please where you want the amount to be debited or credited. Now when you type in the amount to be debited, the credit value is auto-generated. And then here, of course, is for typing a narration, brief explanation. This is the document number, and this is the month, which is based on the financial year that was set and the date. And below that, we look at the multi-journal. This is the biggest recording form. We can say we want 5 rows. Or 6 as such. We say okay, so they are generated and your task is selecting which account do you want to utilize. Now this form does not generate any amounts. All the amounts have got to be typed in manually, and apparently as whenever you type in, the difference is generated below, as you can see below. So when I type in -456, then we get a 0. Now if we don't have a 0, the form cannot save. And if there are blank rows below here, they have to be deleted before a saving can be done. And then of course it indicates that both entries are made in the general ledger. Now we use this to determine whether it's a journal or year-end adjustment. Shall ignore the VL. This is the narration, document number, and the date and month. Now remember, the month determines the quarter. When we change this to month 7, it goes to third quarter. Month 6, that means the second quarter. Now these are partially dependent on the date and what was said at the start of the system. But of course, this date can also be, the month can be changed accordingly. So that is a multi-journal. And then below that, we have the chart of accounts, modify. Now this chart of accounts is where we change the names. For example, if you don't want account number 1 to be sales, you simply highlight that and you type whatever you want. You type whatever you want. You want to name it, for example, you don't want to see the word sales, you want it to remain as takings. You delete that one and click update. If you don't update, then the changes are not effected. So I'm going to click the X to retain the name. Now apparently, let's go back and see. Yes, the name has stayed as sales. So these unnamed accounts are for you to customize as you wish. But any accounts between 1 and 10, they end up as part of Note 1 that appears on the profit and loss account. And that is actually explained in the static chart of accounts. Let's have a quick look. Now this is, the chart of account structure. This is where you find the detail. So you can expand this a little bit. So this one is the structure and it's static. Any accounts between 1 and 10, their balances are summed up to generate the figure for Note 1 on the profit and loss account. Accounts 11 to 20, they end up on Note 2, and so on and so forth. Now, that is the chart of accounts. Now we'll look at the periodic tasks checklist. Now this is a list of tasks. There is a guide. Let's see. Let's drag this up there. Now when you click that question mark, it's going to give us some explanation about what this form is about. Some explanation. So take time to read that. Now essentially it's a list of tasks to be performed on a periodic basis. It could be monthly, it could be quarterly, and you can pinch to zoom in, and then you can zoom out. Now here we should type the business name. Business name, for example, ABC Limited. And then now we need to indicate this task list is for which period. And then we may say that is for August, for example. So it's for the period ended 31st of August. And then we shall indicate that it was done by so and so. Maybe it was done by James, because the supervisor, the business owner, the auditor may want to know who did this. So this is the checklist. It's got about 34 tasks, and there's a tick besides each one of them to tick that this has been done. In case anybody is taking over from you, they know where to start from. And then on the left here, they are numbered, and then we have the underlined numbers, which are bold, and these are links to reports. You don't have to go to the reports module. You click this straight, click that, it should take us to the VAT return straight. So we can see now here we determine whether we want to see the VAT return for the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or otherwise. Now in this particular set of records, there are no transactions for the third quarter. Now let's go back to our miscellaneous module. Now this periodic tasks list, let's have a quick scroll down here. There are quite a number of tasks. This is just a quick overview. When you get the app, please go through that list. And then below here is a year-end reports checklist. Now this one. We've got about 76 reports on this list. 76 reports. Now the number is big because we prepare reports that should be auto-explanatory. You don't need to be there after 2 years, because by the law, prepared records and accounts should be stored for 6 years and after the end of the financial year. So we make reports as detailed as possible, and then they're also summarized at the same time. So as detailed to make them self-explanatory. That's why we end up with 76 reports. So first section is for tax accounts, second is financial statements, third is year-end adjustments, we got VAT reports, then we have wage reports, income reports, expense reports, fixed asset reports, stock reports, trade data reports, bank reports, cash reports, other current asset reports, trade creditor reports, long-term liabilities, other current liabilities, and equity reports. Now, all the reports auto-generated by the app have got their code number is blue and they're underlined. So you just click that one to get the bank account summary. You get there straight away. We click back, and now we've got to go back to miscellaneous. So this is our year-end reports checklist. Now, just like any other reports, it also has some explanation. Please read through that. So those are, now we need to know who has prepared this report. If it's James, please do indicate, because we have a chain. We normally have a chain in accounting firms. So and so is accountable to so and so. We may have a supervisor, we may have an accounts manager, we may have the director, and so on and so forth. So they need to know who to contact in case of issues. And then this side, we've got the completion date. We need to indicate when the accounts were completed. Maybe that was 31st August. Yeah, they need to know. And of course, for every report that makes sense to you that you have viewed, because some reports, actually, let me just indicate this. Reports that have got an R require a reconciliation value to be entered manually. Now, that reconciliation value should come from the last VAT return at the year end. So we type that maybe that amount was 500. Now, if the 500 is different from the 608 on the VAT payable account, then we need to investigate the cause of difference. So that is why we've got to enter that amount manually. So let's go back to our year-end reports checklist. Any report that has got R requires a reconciliation figure. Now, reports with numbers, those are basically account numbers, and those are detailed reports. We got summaries at the top, then the detailed reports. Now let's see something else below here. Now, reports with M are normally done manually. Now, what we have done is to incorporate a blank. Okay, now this is a fixed assets register. You got to enter the item code. You got to enter the description in there. You need to indicate when the item was bought, when it was bought, and then you need to indicate the number of the document. For example, if it was bought, for example, in 2014. Now let's see if we can get to 2014 quickly. How do we get there? 2014. Yes, brilliant. Okay, that's 2014. Assuming it was bought in March on the 7th. Okay, so when we look at the bookkeeping file, the documents file for 2014, we're going to find document number 56 if we want to verify anything. And of course, first column is for typing the cost, second column is for typing the cumulative depreciation, and this should be a negative amount. And then of course the net book value is generated by the app to save us time. And remember, there is some explanation at the top there. You simply access it and get some explanation to recap on the knowledge you already have. So that is the year-end reports checklist. 76 reports. Now out of 76, about 60, 63, 64, 65 are auto-generated. They're auto-generated with maybe a minor figure to be entered, like the reconciliation figure, but the rest is auto-generated. And then now reports without a link should be available in hard copy. Now this C4 is a year-end adjustments guide that is provided. Now for training purposes, we've got to provide it. When you're there at the place of work, then you got to identify the year-end adjustments that have got to be recorded. Now, at the place of work, you don't necessarily need to record the year-end adjustments, because when you enter them in the system, a list of all year-end adjustments is generated, and this one can be printed out. So let's go back to our miscellaneous, to our year-end reports checklist. Yeah, now reports which should be available in hard copy that are not generated by the app do not have a link. They don't have a link, or they don't have a link. Okay, although after you have assembled and put them together, then we can tick on this checklist. For example, if we are happy with the tax return extract, then we should tick that one. Happy with that one, that one, that one. Now, what we're not happy with will remain without ticks. So at the end of the process, all reports without ticks are okay. At the end of the process, all reports without ticks do not apply to the business. If the process has not yet come to an end, any report without a tick needs to be attended to, needs to be generated. And of course, after this, you click Save to maintain the record, and this can be printed. Just click the print button. Now let's try out that print option. Let's go here to the year-end reports checklist. Now we're on a phone here, and we need to have a PDF generated. So that is the generated PDF from what we have entered. Okay. Now our next and final component is transactions. Now transactions. Let's see. There should be some explanation at the top here about transactions list. I think it is somewhere in the starting guide. Yeah, starting guide. There's some information here about transactions. Yes, in the starting guide, some information about transactions, that this is used to display what is recorded starting with the most recent entry. Good. Yeah. So now we come to transactions here. Basically, it lists what has been recorded, the date, the month. F is for fiscal month, and this is the fiscal quarter, which of course is different from the calendar month and quarter. Now there's a narration here, there's a document number, there's a transaction number, we've got amounts there. Sorry, I don't want to edit that. And then we've got the account name. It indicates which transactions end up in the VAT ledger and so on and so forth. Now, if a particular transaction is not desired, then we click delete, and then it deletes all the rows referring to a particular transaction. But otherwise, I'll cancel this. Now, this transaction facility also gives us the opportunity to modify or correct transactions. Now, what we can correct here is the date. We can correct the month. We can correct the quarter. Can correct the narration, we can correct the document number, but we can't correct the transaction number and amounts. If there's a problem with amounts, then we have to delete the transaction and record it again. So that brings us to the end of miscellaneous, and thank you.